Hello, Alba. How are you today?
Hello, teacher. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Very well, teacher.
Very well. Nice to see you today. So thank you for being always on time. We are going to start, but first, let's wait for your classmate. How was your day?
Ay, very busy.
Very busy. So
Yes.
are you tired?
Yes.
Well, I hope you can rest after classes, okay? So let's try to relax and, well, take a break in your life. Okay, let me take our well, your classmates, and then we can start.
Okay.
Oh, Alma is here. Also, Marilyn is here, so very good. Very good. So I already texted your classmates, so we can start. Hello, Alma. How are you today?
Hello, teacher. Good.
Good. Okay, nice to listen to you. Thank you for being here. Marilyn, hello. How are you today?
Hello, teacher. I'm fine. And you?
Well done. Okay, so I'm fine today. Thank you. Well, thank you for being here on time, Alma, and Marilyn. Today, we have to start with our class. And as you remember, in our last classes, we were talking about, we were talking about different tenses. So we were trying to learn and remember, and also to identify what are the differences between simple past and past continuous, also about present perfect and present perfect continuous, okay? Before we start, I wanna show you our topic, okay? Because today, guys, we will have a review about these topics and some activities about it, okay? So to start with this, today, the topic is tell me a story. Today, we are going to practice stories, okay? How to say a story using, well, simple past, past continuous, and also we will continue practicing a little bit of present perfect and present perfect continuous, okay? Before we start, let's play a game. We will move to a story maker, okay? Everybody, let's, give me a second. Let's move to the story maker and then we are going to continue. Well, in the story maker, everybody, we have to create a story, okay? So obviously we have to create a story. So we will choose some objects, some items, and some information to create a story, okay? So to start, well, we have three different types of story: detective story, adventure story, or fantasy story. What do you prefer, Alba? A detective, fantasy, or adventure story?
Adventure story.
Adventure. What about you, Alma? What do you prefer? Adventure, fantasy, or detective? Alma?
Adventure story.
Adventure. And what about you, Madeline? Adventure, fantasy, or detective?
Adventure story.
Adventure. Okay, so today we are going to create an adventure story, okay? Now, okay, look at the question. What are the characters? So in the story, we will have two people or maybe more. But tell me, what are the characters searching for? A mask, a necklace, a helmet, a shield, a dagger, or a cup? Let's see, Marilyn, you will be my volunteer in this question. What are the characters searching for? You can choose any.
Dagger.
A dagger.
Yes.
Okay, so we will choose a dagger. Okay, next question. Alva, you are my volunteer. Tell me, the characters have something to help them. What is it? A message in code, a map, an ancient manuscript, some secret symbols, a letter, or a book?
A message in code.
A message in code. Okay, well, I like this story. Okay, so we have a dagger. They are searching for a dagger, and they have a message in code to help them. So let's continue. Okay, Alma, in this moment, tell me, what do they have to cross in the jungle? Rivers, swamps, bridges, rocks, volcanoes, or waterfalls?
Swaps.
Swamps. Okay, they have to cross.
Yes.
We have to cross in swamps, okay, or for swamps. Let's see. Okay, well, we have, well, I guess this one, it's a little bit easier. So what dangerous animal do they see? What do you think? Marilyn, what do you prefer? A crocodile, leopard, poisonous frog, snake, poisonous spider, or a tiger?
Leopard.
Leopard. Okay, pretty good. Let's see. Right now, I guess this is the last one. So what do they see in the lost city? A maze, a secret entrance, a staircase, a tunnel, a corridor, or a door? Let's see. We will listen to Yesenia because she is here. Okay, Yesenia, right now we are creating a story. So tell me, please, one of these items. What do they see in the lost city? A maze, a secret entrance, a staircase, a tunnel, a corridor, or a door?
In the lost city.
Yes, in the lost city.
Uh, Maybe a maze.
A maze. Okay, I like it. Okay, so everybody, let's see. This is the last one. This is the last question. What place do they find? Okay, what place do they find at the end of the story? Alva, tell me one of this. A palace, a temple, a tomb, a cave, a hole, or a dungeon?
A dungeon.
A dungeon. Okay. Well, now that we choose different items to create a story, let's check what is our story. Remember, we choose a dagger, a messaging code, swamps, a leopard, a maze, and the last one, a dungeon. So this is the story that we have today. Okay, this is the first story that we have. Please, right now, I don't know if you can see it. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Oh, I can't. My gosh. Okay, I can't, everybody. But let's see. Right now that you watch, that you read, please, sorry, now that you create a story, help me reading. So my volunteer now is going to be Marilyn. Okay, Marilyn, help me reading the first part of the story from Lara and Marco. And you finish in, oh, give me a second. You finish in code. Go ahead. Marilyn, you can do it.
Lara and Marco with brave explorer. They were in the jungle, searching for a golden danger that was belonged to
Ancient.
an ancient king. The danger had been lost for 1,000 years. Lara and Marco had a message in code.
Very good. Thank you, Marilyn. Okay, so great pronunciation. I'm sorry. I didn't check that. I didn't notice that I have my microphone on or activated, but the pronunciation is ancient. So thank you for correcting your pronunciation. Well done. Now, we will move to another person. So we have to, oops, give me a second. What happened? What happened? Okay, so they tracked and okay, under the city. Okay, Alma Marroquin, help me reading the next part, okay? We already using the story, the dagger and the messaging code. So let's continue right now. Please continue reading, Alma. They tracked and you finish under the city.
They treks through the jungle across dangers, swamps, marks. Create Lara watch out for the leopards. They finally arrive at the lost city. Look, there's a maze. Son Marcos, the maze took them to a dungeon depth under the city.
Thank you. Okay, the maze took them to a dungeon deep under the city. Well done. Okay, my last volunteer in this story is going to be Yesenia. Okay, Yesenia, you gotta continue. Oops, I'm sorry. Okay, you have to continue right now in, what happened? Okay, so I'm having problem with this. So you continue reading in there and you finish in the end. Okay, go ahead.
In the middle of the dungeon, there was a stone with symbols on it. Marco and Lara pushed away the heavy stone and gasped as they saw the glittering gold dagger. Then,
Okay, very good job. So thank you for your, well, thank you for reading. That was really nice. Well, do you want, well, as you can see, guys, we created one story and there is something in this story. What can you see in the story? What tense are we using to talk about this story? What tense are we using? Are we using present tenses? Are we using past tenses or future tenses? What are we using, Alba?
Past tense.
Past tenses. Okay, let's check some examples, okay? Let's check some tenses. As you can see, we have verb to be in past, where. We have belonged, okay, in past. We have, well, had been. This is one tense that we haven't studied yet in the class, but we will study later, okay? This is past perfect. Also cried.
They tracked.
They tracked. Very good. Any other?
Arrived.
Oh, arrived.
arrived.
Then said. Any other verb?
Was.
Was. Very good. Also, we have took.
Pushed.
Push.
Oh, pushed. Very good. And then
Saw, teacher.
Yes.
They saw.
Yes.
yes. They saw. Where is saw? Let me see. I don't find it, guys.
Near to gospel. As they saw.
As they saw. Oh yes, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I was looking for it in the other lines. So very good. As you see, we are using simple past. Also, we are using in some examples structures that are similar or close to past continuous, and we are using past perfect. As I said before, past perfect is a topic that we hadn't studied yet, or we haven't studied yet. I'm sorry. Okay, but as you see, when we are talking about stories, we use past tenses. If you are talking about your favorite movie and we explain what is the movie about, we have to use verbs in past. Okay, so remember, we use past to talk about memories, but also in these cases, we use it to talk about stories, okay? Now, well, as you see, we can play again, but because of the time, we have to continue with some other activities. We won't play, but we can make some other stories. As you see, we have detective story or a fantasy story, but we will do it maybe in another opportunity because we have to continue now, okay? Well, Yesenia, thank you for coming, by the way, okay? Welcome to the class. How are you today, Yesenia?
I'm fine, teacher. I'm
Very good.
better.
Oh, you're better. So I'm really glad for it, okay? So that you feel better. So thank you for being here. Well, we have to continue now. We already did the story maker. Now we have to remember a little bit about simple past and past continuous. Remember that when we are talking about simple past and past continuous, we talk about actions that already finish in past. We are talking about completed actions for both, but there are slight differences between simple past and past continuous. So right now, we are going to read some information and some examples. Please, to start with this, help me, Alba, and read the information about simple past.
We use the simple past to talk about complete action, habits, and facts in the past. And the first, I went to the cinema yesterday. Second, always visited my grandparents in my summer holidays when I was little. 3, I lived near Liverpool for a couple of years.
Thank you, Alva. That was a good pronunciation. Okay, so I went, I visited, I lived. Very good. Okay, thank you for it. Well, as you can see in these examples, we are talking about actions that already finished. So they finished in the past. So everything that we use or we say in simple past, it's something that finished in the past. It's a completed action. So I went to the cinema yesterday. So it stopped or it finished in the past, yesterday. Then we have a habit that we have, in this case, when I was little, when I was a kid, it says, I always visited. Remember that when we are talking about always, we are talking about the frequency of an activity, of an action, or an action. But in this case, we are using always for habits that I had in past. And the last one, it's some facts, some information, but in the past. So the example says, I lived near Liverpool for a couple of years. Is that, is that person living in Liverpool nowadays or only in the past, Alba?
Only in the past.
Only in the past.
Only
Remember?
2 years.
Excellent, for a couple of years. So it finished in past. Now this person is living in another city or maybe even in another country. That's the example about, or those are the examples about. Completed actions, habits, and facts in the past. So remember, all the examples in the past. Now let's check the past continuous. Please help me with this, Madeline. What is the past continuous for?
Past continuous is used to express interrupted action, a specific time, as an interruption and parallel action. I was watching TV when the phone rang. Last night at 7 p.m. I was having dinner. While she was doing the homework, her brother was playing football.
Nice job. While she was doing her homework, the brother was playing football. Thank you. Okay. Remember, in past continuous, we are talking about actions in the past. but they have a different use. We use it to talk about interrupted actions. When an action was happening, the other action interrupted. Remember, the past continuous sentence is a long action, and the simple past sentence is a short action. So we have this example. I was watching TV when the phone rang. As you see, what is a longer action, Marilyn? Watching TV or the phone rang?
Watching TV.
Very good. Watching TV is a long action, and the shorter action is the phone rang. Okay, this is an interrupted action because when I was watching TV, the phone rang. The first activity, or sorry, the second activity interrupted the first activity or the first action. Okay, that's the first example, interrupted actions. Then we have a specific time as an interruption. As you see in number 2, last night at 7 p.m., I was having dinner. So we have to mention the specific time. Sometimes in simple past, we don't, it's not usual to use time expressions or to use a specific time in simple past. It's not common and it's not correct to use time expressions, specific time expressions in simple past, only in past continuous, okay? And in the last example, we are talking about two activities at the same moment. Doing her homework, playing football. Marilyn, were those activities happening at the same moment or in a different moment?
At the same moment.
At the same moment, that's right. So when we're talking about parallel actions in past, we have to use past continuous, okay? Well done. Thank you for helping me reading the examples. Now we have to continue. Remember, this is a quick review of what we learned during this week. So we have to move right now to two other topic or two other grammar tenses. These are, I guess, the most difficult topics that we have this week because it was confusing. But remember, that's why we are practicing, right? To avoid confusing more and to clear up our ideas. So we have present perfect and present perfect continuous. Let's read right now the information about present perfect. Please, Yesenia, help me reading about present perfect.
Okay. Present perfect. Finish action. The kid have played for 2 hours. Permanent action. I have taught English for 12 years. Emphasis on the result of the action. He has repaired the car. Indicate how much many have been complete. It has taken 6 years to write this book.
Very good. Okay. Everybody, as you can see in these examples, well, in present perfect examples, these are the different uses that we have for present perfect. Number one, to talk about finished actions. Something that was started in the past, I'm sorry, and is still true in present, or have just finished. Something that started in the past and have just finished maybe a little moment ago. In this case, we have the kids have played for 2 hours, but now they stopped playing. Then we have permanent actions. This is a difference of present perfect continuous. As you see, in present perfect continuous, we never talk about permanent actions. So I have taught English for 12 years. And maybe I still continue. So we can remember that present perfect and present perfect continuous have something in common, and it's that they can talk about unfinished actions. But present perfect is more common to use also finished actions. In this case, a permanent action is something that hasn't finished. So I have taught English for 12 years and I continue teaching and I continue teaching and I continue teaching. So as you see, it's a permanent action, something that is not going to change, or maybe is not going to change yet. Then the emphasis on the result of the action, he has repaired the car, okay? The result is that he repaired the car. Now he finished he finished repairing the car. And the last one, remember that this is only when we use present perfect. It's not possible to use present perfect continuous to talk about how much and how many. Only present perfect. So we have, it has taken 6 years. How much time? 6 years to write his book. When we talk about time, when we talk about time, we never use, or when we talk about quantities, we never use how present perfect continuous. Only present perfect. Now, let's check the uses of present perfect continuous. Please listen to Alma Marroquin. Okay, Alma? Read present perfect continuous uses.
Present perfect continuous. Unfinished action. The kid has been playing since morning. Temporary action. I have been teaching this class for 1 hour. And places on the direction of the action. He has been repairing the car for 2 hours. Indicate how long something has been happening. I have been studying English for 2 months.
Very good. As you see, something common, something common in all the uses or most of the uses of present perfect continuous is that it focuses on the duration of an action. The duration of an action, the time I spent doing this action. For example, number 1, an unfinished action. The kids had been playing since morning and now they continue playing. So as you see, it's something that started in the past and now in present is still true. They have been playing and they are playing now. So it's like a mix of present perfect continuous and present progressive or present continuous, okay? As you see, we are talking about an action that started in the past and since this action is unfinished, this action still continues, okay? Then we're talking about temporary actions. Remember temporary actions? Things that are not usual or to take the time of something. In this case, I have been teaching this class for 1 hour. Okay, now we have half an hour, not an hour, but I had been teaching this class for half an hour and I still continue, but I will stop. The class will not continue after 10 p.m. At 10 p.m., the class have to finish. Okay, you have to rest, I have to rest, we have to relax. So the class is not going to continue. The class at 10 p.m. is finished. So as you see, it's something temporary, not something that is permanent, that we will continue all night or we will continue all morning. So it is temporary. We only have 1 hour English class, so it is temporary. And the last two, okay, as you can see, it's kind of similar because we are talking about the duration of an action. For example, emphasis on the duration of the action. He has been repairing the car. As you see, is the same action. He has repaired the car. He has been repairing the car. So it's the same verb. It's the same action. What is the difference? That in present perfect, we are talking about the action is finished. But in present perfect continuous, we are talking about the action started 2 hours ago, but it still continues. Okay? And the last use of it, everybody, it's, well, as you remember, how much and how many? Present perfect. And now, when we talk about the duration or the length of time of an action, we use a present perfect continuous. I had been studying English for 2 months. So as you can see, we are not talking about we are not talking about the time that one action took to us or took us, but we are talking about how long an action has been happening. I have been studying English for 2 months. I have been studying English for 3 weeks. So the length of time of an action, okay? Remember, these are some differences of present perfect and present perfect continuous. As we studied yesterday, same that we are studying today, okay? Now, we will practice, as I told you yesterday, we have to practice to do a better job every day. So right now we are going to do some exercises with the tenses that we have studied. So right now, the first part is about simple past and past continuous. Remember to use the correct form, taking into account the differences or the uses of simple past and past continuous. Right now, let's check example number 1. Marilyn, help me with the right answer of example number 1. Only the first word. Look. What do you think is the correct form? While the police was looking or while the police looked? What do you think is the correct form?
Looking.
Okay, so read the complete sentence. Until window. Hasta acá. Until window. While the policeman. Read.
While the policeman was looking out of the window.
Okay, now we have another verb. So he what? He noticed or he was noticing? What do you think?
Was noticing.
Okay, was noticing. Okay, and that a blue car, what is the correct form? That a blue car parked down the road or was parking down the road?
Was parking.
Was parking. Okay, now let's check example number 2. Please, Alva, help me with example 2. I
was working on my report.
I was working on my report when?
When the phone rang.
Okay, nice job. When the phone rang. Nice job. Then my wife, this is a long example. So tell me, my wife was wanting or wanted to know?
My wife wanted.
Okay, my wife wanted to know when
When I was coming home.
when I was coming home. Oops, I'm sorry, home is there. So when I was coming. Okay, thank you for it. Let's continue. Please help me with the next example, Yesenia. Example number 3. What's the correct form of the verb? He walked down the street or he was walking down the street?
He was walking down the street
Uh-huh.
when he saw so
Okay, when he saw.
uh, his old school teacher on the other side.
Nice job. Okay, thank you. Very good job. You complete the sentences really fast. That's great. Thank you. Please, right now, help me with the next example. Okay, Marilyn, help me with number 4.
During the time I spent
I spent,
in South America, I never saw a serious crime.
Okay, I never saw a serious crime. Okay, nice job. Very good, Marilyn. Now, Alma, tell me example number 5. Well, this is a long example, but let's do it. I know you are great. While they
While they were having
while they were having, continue.
lunch at the new restaurant, um, was coming.
A journalist was coming up to them and
No, verb past.
so came a journalist came.
Yes.
Okay, a journalist came up to them and was wanting or wanted to ask a few questions.
Up to them and wanted.
Okay, wanted
Yes,
to ask a few
wanted.
questions. Okay, we have more. Well, we have more sentences to complete, but we will not do it because of the time. But let's pay attention to this example. Okay, example number 1. While the policeman was looking out of the window, he was noticing that a blue car was parking down the road. There is one of these that is not correct. Because remember, when we use a past continuous, we are talking about 2 actions that happen at the same time. The policeman was looking out of the window. Yes, it's correct. But what do you think is the action that happened or was happening, I'm sorry, at the same time? He noticed or the car was parking? What happened at the same time that he was looking? Okay. Action 1, and then we have action 2. So action 1 is looking. So he was looking. What happened at the same time he was looking out of the window? Looking out of the window. What do you think happened at the same time? He noticed, he was noticing, or someone was parking down a blue car. What do you think, Alba? What happened at the same moment? He was noticing or a blue car was parking?
He was noticed. He, for me, is the park.
Okay, for you, was parking? It was at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Alba, let me tell you that you are right. Those are the correct actions. They happen at the same time. So he was looking out of the window. At the same time, a blue car was parking, but he noticed. So in simple past, not in, sadly, everybody, not past, not past continuous, but past
Simple past.
simple past. I'm sorry. So he noticed that a blue car was parking. Okay. So the result of looking out of the window was that he noticed. So since we have three verbs, we have to check which one is in simple past and which one is in past continuous. Okay, remember, something that can help you a lot is to write some numbers. Action number one. Okay, so the first action was looking. What happened at the same time? Okay, now we can continue. Now that we correct number one, it is correct. Then number two, I was working on my report when the phone rang. Interruptions. Well done. Okay, my wife wanted to know when I was coming home. Or sorry, my wife wanted to know when I was coming home. So that sentence is also correct. Very good job. Let's continue. Number three, he was walking down the street when he saw his old teacher on the other side. Very good. Then number four, during the time I spent in South Africa, I never saw a serious crime. Very good. Remember, I never saw habits in past or facts in past. Let's continue. Number five. While they were having lunch at the new restaurant, a journalist came up to them and wanted to ask them a few questions. Okay, this example has also a mistake. So we will do the same exercise. So they were having lunch, okay? Having lunch. Then what was the next action?
Okay.
Or sorry, what happened at the same moment? They were having lunch. What do you think, Marilyn? What happened at the same moment they were having lunch? A journalist came or he wanted to ask questions?
A journalist came.
Ah, so does it happen at the same time, Marilyn? At the same moment?
No, it maybe wanted to ask a few questions.
That happened at the same time? They were having lunch and he wanted to ask some questions? Or wanted is the result of he came?
The journalist came.
Very good. So since it happened at the same time, do we use simple past or we use past continuous? What do you think?
Is past continuous?
Past continuous. So was coming. And the second example, a journalist was coming up to them. Okay, was coming up to them and wanted to ask few questions. Okay, of course, this is the correct form. Okay, these are the correct examples. So thank you guys for your practice. We have some, well, in this presentation, we have some other exercises. This one, it's also in simple past versus past continuous. And this one is in present perfect versus present perfect continuous. Okay, we will finish our class with this practice. Sadly, we couldn't finish with the last activity, okay? So you have to tell me about a story, a fairy tale, okay? Remember fairy tales like Cinderella, like Snow White, like, I don't remember any other. Oh, like the Three Pigs or the Three Little Pigs, I'm sorry, like Red Riding Hood. So you have to tell me about it, but because of the time, we are not doing it, okay? We will practice right now because this is also important. We will practice present perfect versus present perfect continuous. Remember the uses of present perfect simple and present perfect progressive, okay? Right now, let's check example number 1. A new pair of shoes. The words that we need to use are just and buy. Remember buy in the correct form, okay? So in past participle. What is the past participle of buy, Alba?
Both.
Box. Very good. So right now, well, I gave you the answer of number 1, okay? The answer of number 1, of course, is a present perfect. So I have both a new pair of shoes. Okay, so the action is finished, right? So once he bought, he paid, or she paid, or this person paid for the shoes, so the action finished or is completed. Okay, now let's check the next examples. What do you think about number 2, Yesenia? What is the correct form? Have you been finishing that book yet, or have you finished?
Have you finished?
Okay, let's see. Have you finished that book yet? Read the complete question, please.
Have you finished that book yet?
Thank you. Let's continue, please, right now. Alma Marroquin, help me with example number 3.
They have ate cookies all the afternoon ever since they come home from school.
Okay, they have, what is the past participle, Alma? Of
Ate.
Eat in the past participle form, let me see. Oh, Marilyn, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. Maybe it's because of the internet. So remember the past participle is eaten. Okay, eaten.
Eaten.
So they have eaten cookies all afternoon, ever since they came from, they came home from school. So, Alma, is it the correct form? They have eaten or they have been eating?
They have been eating.
They have been eating. Okay, very good. Remember, this is an unfinished action. They have been eating. Okay, because they started, they started eating cookies in the past. So since they came from school, and they, in the afternoon, they still continue. Or in the evening, they still continue, as you see. So present perfect continuous. Let's see now. Alba Castillo, help me with example number 4. What is the correct answer? This book now so you can have it back.
Back. Dice, quiero ver. I have been this book now.
I had been.
So you can have.
So I have a question for you, Alba. Is this, well, in your opinion, with the information that we have in the sentence, is this action finished or unfinished?
Hmm. It's finished, teacher.
Okay, and what do we use for
Yes.
finish actions? Present perfect or present perfect continuous? Which one is more common?
Present perfect.
Ah, present
Mhm.
perfect. So what is the correct
Yes.
form?
I have read.
Ah, I have read. What is the complete sentence?
I have read this book now, so you can have it back.
Nice job. Okay, I have read this book now, so you can have it back. Well,
Mhm.
as you see, you can check the information. Okay, you can identify with the information that we have if it is or what's the correct form, present perfect or present perfect continuous. Thank you, Alba. That was a great example. Now let's continue. Okay, help me, Yesenia, with example number 5. The novelist 8 pages of his new book.
Um, and the action is now finished.
Okay,
Yet,
the action
right,
is not finished.
is present continuous.
Present perfect continuous. Okay, well, you have a great point, but I have another question, Yesenia. Are we talking about how long, about the duration of an action, or are we talking about how much the quantity of something?
Mm, the quantity
And
is
what do we,
a page.
8 pages, right? So what do we use to talk about quantities? Present perfect or present perfect continuous?
Present perfect.
So what is the correct sentence?
Mm, the novel is
Right.
So what is the
mm,
auxiliary? What is the auxiliary?
has
Has, very good.
uh, is in past the verb.
In past participle, that's right. Remember, in present perfect, we use the verbs in past participle. So what is the correct form of write in past participle?
Written.
Oh, written. That's right. Okay. So what is the complete
Written.
sentence, Yesenia?
Uh, the novelist has written 8 pages of his new book.
Oh, we forgot one word. I'm sorry. So has already. Okay, has already written. Okay, very good job, Yesenia. So that was correct. As you see, everybody, yes, it can be confusing because we have to talk about, or we have to remember all the differences that they have. So yes, present perfect is for finish actions, but also we can use it to talk about some unfinished actions. Not all, but some. Okay, as you see, what are the filters or what are the things that we have to remember if they talk about a quantity or not, if they talk about the result of the action or of the action finished, and also if they talk about permanent actions. If we talk about this, present perfect. But if we talk about something that is temporary, that in a moment is happening, but in another moment it's not going to happen again, present perfect continuous. For an action that is, well, the focus of the sentence is in the length of time, or it's on the duration of time, so we use present perfect continuous. Remember, those are some of the differences that we use or that we have to identify when we are using present perfect or present perfect continuous. So as I told you guys, practicing is going to help us. Okay, so remember, study, practice, and it will be kind of easier little by little. Okay, so thank you for your practice. We still have some other activities, but because of time, we are not going to continue. Okay, but you can practice at home. Okay, because you will have the presentation. So let's see. Also, this activity, guys, we don't have time for this, but I was about to, well, we wanted to share or to tell a story, to talk about fairy tales. I was about to send you some pictures, but if you can practice with this at home, try to do it, okay? Look for a fairy tale and try to say it as we did with the story of Marco and Lara. Use past tenses, okay? So use past tenses, but use simple past, use past continuous to talk about fairy tales, to talk about stories, to talk about your favorite movie, okay? Practice and continue doing your best. Okay, right now, just before we go, well, it was part of the activity. Just before we go, everybody, please work on these two activities. 4.3.1 and 4.3.2, okay? Please work on these activities, and also, please work on the platform. As you have seen on the WhatsApp group, people, well, our principal, or the people in charge of English classes is pushing for completion of activities on the platform. I'm sorry. So please, everybody, you must complete 75 of the activities on the platform, okay? I'm sorry for Spanish, guys, but I have to say it in Spanish to be clearer. Para más claridad, lo voy a decir en español, y es esto: para el domingo, a más tardar, debemos tener un 75% de avance en las actividades de la plataforma. I really appreciate, de verdad les felicito y aprecio mucho que todos hasta el momento, hayan hecho un gran trabajo y hayan finalizado con las actividades de, hayan finalizado con las actividades de la plataforma hasta el punto que vamos, el que es anterior a el 4.3.1, que es el 4.3. Felicito a los que han llegado hasta ese punto, hasta el día de hoy. Please, guys, continue doing this, ¿ok? Continuemos con estas últimas dos actividades de la unidad 4. Guys, please take the exam. Había olvidado eso. Tomen el examen de la unidad 3 y 4. Esta vez nos corresponde tomar esos exámenes, así que por favor también tómenlos, ¿ok? Y por lo demás, continue practicing. I hope to see you on Monday. So have a great weekend. Take a break this night and these days. And I hope to see you on Monday. So have a good night. Bye-bye.
Bye,
Bye,
teacher.
guys.
Good night.
Bye-bye. See you on Monday.